My boyfriend saved me from drowning and I resent him for it. Warning. Some audiences may find this content disturbing. View at your own discretion. Today, we share 6 recent confessions from Reddit. My boyfriend saved me from drowning and I resent him for it. We were swimming off the coast of Australia last summer and I, being the inexperienced swimmer that I am, swam out too far. Before I knew it, I was over my head being thrown around by waves and pulled back by the current. For one split second I was scared that I was going to die, then I was completely at peace. I had an overwhelming feeling of calmness and serenity and I accepted that I was going to die. He swam out and grabbed my bathing suit bottoms and swam me to safety. At first, I was fighting him in the water, pushing him off of me because I had already accepted my death and I felt so much overwhelming calmness and peace. Then, I saw the look on his face of him struggling to save me. It was a look of pure and utter terror and I knew in that moment if I did not stop fighting, that he would be drowned trying to save me. As much as I was at peace and comfortable with drowning and dying, I did not want him to die, so I stopped struggling and let him save me. I resent him for saving me because in my near-death experience, I have never in my 40 years of living felt so calm and peaceful. If my neurological condition isn't curable, I'm seriously considering ending my life at a euthanasia clinic in Switzerland. Last night I had a dream where I was given this chemical lobotomy where certain parts of my brain were destroyed or paralyzed and then I went on living my life on pre-onset. Sometimes while riding my bike I feel like slamming myself into a lamppost and hitting my head. I wish my brain could stop torturing me. I'm on like 10 medications including sedatives and even in a sedated state my symptoms are that bad it's still causing me daily distress. My symptoms are all caused by me being upright, so as the day progresses, so does the level of dread. I wake up feeling dread but then this increases the longer I'm up. My symptoms: auditory hallucinations and buzzing in my head, sound and light sensitivity, severe scalding hot pain, headaches that rotate around my head, nausea, vertigo, miniature seizures and convulsions, take hours to slowly fade away when I lie flat. In recent years cognitive decline has happened. I can no longer learn new things, I'm forgetting everything, forgetting what people said mid-sentence, forgetting how to make a cup of tea, muddling up my words, sleeping for days on end at a time due to debilitating fatigue and sleep deprivation due to my symptoms, etc. My neurological condition isn't psychiatric, but if I could describe it, it'd be a disgusting mixture of schizophrenia, dementia and severe migraines, all at once. I got a letter referral to a neurology clinic less than a month after I saw my GP, so whatever this is, it put me up there on the priority list and I hope to God it's curable whatever it is. Because it isn't, I'm seriously considering going to euthanasia clinic in Switzerland. Onset was in 2010. Back then it was mild, but now in the past year my symptoms have accelerated exponentially and my cognitive decline is now too severe to hide and everyone I know wonders what the hell is happening to me because I'm a shadow of my former self. Nothing makes me happy anymore and I've lost interest in things I used to be interested in. Living is only causing me distress, anger, dread and sadness. There is not a single day that now goes by where I don't feel all those emotions. Every day I fantasize about living a normal life like my friends are doing. Sometimes I have dreams where I'm given a cure, wake up, realized it was just a dream and start bawling. I can't take this much more. I am looking forward to my grandfather passing away. From the time I was 8 to 11, I was tainted by an older youth family member. I told my parents and they didn't believe me. Over the past years, I'm 40 now, it's come up a handful of times. They didn't rather want to hear about it, discuss it, or own their mistake. I hate them. I'd rather staple my foreskin to a moving train than be in the same room with them. My grandparents were my saviors. I spent a ton of time with them after being tainted. It was my safe place. My grandmother passed a couple of months ago after being married to my grandfather for 63 years. He's given up and is just running out of clock. He is 87. Since he's been sick, my parents and I care for him. Once he is gone, I will not have to see my parents ever again. He will be my grandmother. I feel guilty, but I'm looking forward to it. Don't let your daughter that are developing and have no idea what goes on in the mind of that one helpful neighbor who just can't quite settle down, because I assure you, if the clothes are short or tight, someone is thinking about raping them. I believe in the death penalty. I believe it is a deterrent. I never killed anyone when I lived in a death penalty state. I was deterred. I do honestly believe that if I was pre-emotively sentenced to death, I would of course fight, but in my mind I would know it was the best possible thing. I don't know if I will ever follow through and actually abduct, rape and murder a girl or a girls, quality over quantity, I say. But if a situation spilled out onto my lap I would definitely not pass it up. My stepdad was a pedophile. So he isn't my stepdad anymore. Let me get that over clear. My mom divorced him almost as soon as she found out. So my mom was married to him around 7 years I think, and he didn't seem like the worst person. He didn't really care about me or my brother, but he wasn't an asshole to us either. So at the end of the 7 years, we are having dinner one night, when there is a knock on the door. So he goes to answer it, and that is the last time I see him. Then in no time at all, there are maybe 15 police officers turning our house upside down for hours, taking anything and everything of his that was electronic. Because what we didn't know was that he was a pedophile, and through the whole time we knew him was distributing and receiving indecent images of child mistreatment across the internet. He was caught because someone else had given up a chat room he was in and they traced his IP address. So yeah. We lived with a pedophile for 7 years without knowing it. So this is probably the worst thing you will read that isn't complete BS. I fantasize about horrible things to faceless people every single day. It started as young as I could remember. Initially it would have me playing a hero, but someone always died and it was always violent. As I got older and started becoming interested in, and eventually having doing it, the fantasies got progressively worse. I killed a few animals for the sake of killing them as a teen, but it wasn't like I was a cat serial killer. It was rodents mostly. Usually setting them on fire. I also used to set my local woods in fire. I don't feel angry towards anyone in particular, but I definitely want to kill someone. I have also fantasized about essentially keeping a human sex slave, but it would be impossible where I live. Every night before bed my head hits the pillow and fantasy plays out. They are often reused fantasies, but over time they change. The current one is that some girl walks into my house by mistake, at night. No one saw her come in and I proceed to do awful things to her. It isn't out of desperation for sex. My love life is pretty regular, although almost entirely one-night stands. I just genuinely do not care even the slightest bit about 99% of the population. If I could kill someone monetary gain, including a handful of people, I wouldn't hesitate for a second if the logistics were worked out. But then I also have a completely contradiction to events. For example, I witnessed a pretty bad car crash and I instinctively pulled over, called 911, tried keeping the one guy conscious by talking to him until the ambulance came. I felt great afterwards, but within a day any and all effects it had on me were gone. I get along decent enough with people to the point that they always invite me to things even though I make up an excuse every single time. Sometimes I just want to go up to a random person and bash their brains in and stop living a facade. I know I am capable of taking the first necessary steps to kill someone in the way I would want to, but luckily for me and my potential victim, I never came across someone I wanted. I think if I had I would have done the cliché and offer a ride with a wide smile, thinking about puppies to give a look of sincerity. I think it would be unlikely I would kill someone that first time, unless she fit an extremely specific type. That's another messed up part of me for no reason I can comprehend. I view blonde women as absolute goddesses. Pure, no matter what they do. Thoroughly beautiful. I also oddly prefer them to be like a model, skinny with a little bit of a butt. This is odd because I have always instinctively been attracted to brunettes with big butts, hips and waists. Also, in my fantasy, the person I would keep is always blonde. There's actually this poor girl I obsess over, but don't worry. Unless she encountered me randomly in the middle of nowhere, alone, and no one witnessed me being there, I would never hurt her. Solely because I would be a suspect. Ladies. I say this to you as if you were my niece or daughter and not a potential toy for a monster. If anyone ever threatens you into being quiet, your life depends on you screaming as loud as you can. Whatever they do to you on the spot, if anything, who wants to waste a perfectly good piece right? Is much less than what they had planned for you. What they likely had planned for you was a lot then probably some kind of intimate torture. Personally I would probably go with biting or pinching or maybe just a few solid punches to their face. Don't trust the meter reader. The exterminator is looking for something bigger to kill than a rat. That guy who know your name and address and all your interests probably shouldn't be trusted just because he delivers your mail. All truckers are serial killers. Assume that just to be safe. They probably are anyway. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Turn on the notifications to know when we post new videos. Thank you for coming to the House of Reddit.